exaggerated white lips and eyes, hideous wigs, and costumes were the worst thing I had seen on a Tarzan movie. By contrast, the women in Zulu's court were always dressed in what was the acceptable standard for Negro black women, straightened hair or wigs and face powder at least one shade lighter than their natural complexions. With few exceptions, the women of Zulu's court were always attired in costuming in line with European standards, meaning straight hair, wigs, and whatever, and no blackface. Today, of course, we know the hair is longer and straighter. In school, again, I'm going back to my experience and what was the catalyst for me. In school, we learned that minstrel shows and the blackface makeup were designed to make a mockery of us when we were enslaved. Here was Zulu, mocking us as well and mocking people we only saw as characters in Tarzan movies. As for Tarzan, not one black person I knew liked Tarzan. The characters, Jane, or the child. I secretly wish that the black people, perhaps real Africans in those Tarzan movies, would leave Tarzan, Jane, and baby Tarzan to their own demise in the jungle. Although during that time I had never seen an African, I was certain Africans did not look like or act like those in the Tarzan movies. I believe with all my heart that the Zulus did not look like them either. So I searched and began looking for Zulu, the audacity. So that was my catalyst.
Fellas, you know.
Well, full disclosure, Time Speaking Union wrote they published an essay I wrote when this discussion was first being had. And so I wrote in Zulu like about 4 times, had the time of my life, right? Had a wonderful time. Now, on one hand, I did that, but I couldn't really explain it, right? It was like, you know, I used to always talk about cognitive dissonance, so I guess that was an example of me living with cognitive dissonance, because I knew a lot of the people in Zulu, and I know that that image you see when you see it, that them brothers ain't that. You know, they ain't stepping fetcher and nothing like that. So that made me sleep a little better at night. But I had that sort of intimate knowledge. But I knew if I went to any other city in this country and stood on a corner and something like the Zulu parade passed in front of me, I might pass out and die from the sheer shock of it, right? Now, this is the one thing I think we can all agree on. If them brothers from Zulu was over here, we say 400 years later, black people still trying to be free. You understand what I'm saying? We still fight. We can agree on that. Now, the issue is that while we're trying to be free, some beautiful things have been happening. We starting to recognize that these symbols have meaning, you understand? And that we're saying it's time for them symbols to come down. And I think that the Take Them Down organization was like on the forefront, but it wasn't just something that was just here in New Orleans. It was all in the South, spreading in the Caribbean, spreading in Africa, where people are basically saying these symbols have meaning, and it's time to take them down. Now, the big issue is we talk about Robert E. Lee, Beauregard, and all these other racist symbols, you see? So we cannot be principled and talk about them and not talk about blackface. Yeah. Now, I will accept the fact that one of the things I was a little surprised by when we first started talking about the monuments, Jack Lee and all of them guys, I had some people I gotta have a tremendous amount of respect for, very well educated people, say, man, statues don't mean nothing to me. So okay. So we could say, okay, well you see it one way and I see it one way. But the point is that when the African diaspora starts saying we're moving forward and we're gonna do something about it, and for you to say, well, I'm not a part of that, I'm not trying to, I don't want to move forward with that, You know, I'm going to keep my own little racist symbol, and I know that when I keep my racist symbol, that's going to be a weak link in the moving the discussion forward, because them same racist white people who wanted to make sure that General Lee would always lord over us, one of the first things they are going to say is that, oh, look, man, it's just about history and tradition. You know, they were not willing to give up the blackface. That's their thing. They won't give up that. And so for the people in Zulu to say, you know, to fight that, to stonewall that, that's the thing that's unforgivable. If you say, hey man, I just never really thought about it that way, okay, maybe I can give you that. But black people all over this world are saying it's time to get rid of these racist symbols, and you don't want to be a part of that. In fact, you're going to do just the opposite. You're going to undermine that. That is unforgivable.
Right. Say that better, Willie.
Wow. As they were talking, I was just listening. You know, like growing up in the city of New Orleans, man, you grow up and everybody's a part of Mardi Gras. You know, you look forward to it. And then you will grow up, you know, Rex was for white folks, Zulu was ours, right? So you grow up in an environment, you kind of not see it as something that's a problem, something that's negative. So for a lot of my teenage life and even some adult life, it was there, but I didn't think about it in the terms in which we're discussing it right now, right? So I think for me, that what crystallized it, and I mentioned this before, of course you start learning about the minstrel shows and what it's all meant, and then I started paying attention to it. But then when they were doing that town hall meeting, I remember Quest, I was watching him via Facebook Live, when he went through the history, that some of what we saw today, when he talked about how, you know, what Zulu is saying as this is the actual history of it. No, that wasn't the history of it. No, the guy really did go to a minstrel show. And this was a show that was portraying black people in those stereotypical looking ways. And this is how he got the idea. So when you know, when I saw that was the facts, like, yo, it's the truth. You can't argue with that. Then that began to crystallize into my head even more so, right? Because to me, it's like, oh, it's simple. This is where the guy got it from. Was Black Patty. Yeah. And so I think like now, it's been going on so long that people have made, it's like the N-word, you know. They have taken it and tried to say, nah, it's ours now. Well, no, it's never ours. Like, how can you reclaim something that never belonged to you? So I think that the effort from taking down NOLA, putting attention on it, really crystallized it for me even more so.
All right, thanks, Brother Willie. With the next question in mind, it was focusing on how does exposure to factual information in historical context impact your view on what we accept as a part of our culture and what we reject. Brother Willie kind of answered that a little bit just now, but Sister Greer.
Yeah, so again, this is from the body of work that I'm working on. Factual information in historical context removes the romanticism that Brother Willie is talking about. Romanticism is a good thing. We all like romance. But if we're dealing with a continued social and political right, romanticism has its place in our culture, and it does not belong in the context of the struggle with blackface. That place would be built or led or motivate our aspirations to celebrate our victories or even romances. That's why you use romance. But in terms of the historical context, and in doing this work, talking about Zulu, I came across something because now I'm moving from elementary school, right, to junior high school, and now my frame of reference and my thoughts are being motivated by the Black Power movement and the Black Arts movement. So here is my junior high school brain thinking and my research now that, in fact, Zulu knows better, because I came across something in one of their souvenir books where they were asked about the name Zulu. And Rousseau says the Zulu tribe was once renowned for their prowess as warriors. Their battle cry was, wash your sword with the blood of your enemies. And it goes on, and that's why they chose the name. But again, following the Black Power movement and the Black Arts movement, my reality then was that the affect and the effect of Zulu's blackface and parade costuming was always and has always been the manifestation of internalized racism masked as carnival revelry.
Yes.
Yes, of course, I would have not understood the term internalized racism as a child in junior high school or its application as a 10-year-old child. But I knew and understood something was wrong. Now I think Zulu's irreverent act of blackface has many meanings. Secondly, in terms of the historical context, Zulu unashamedly unmasked the social class separation within the African American community by wearing blackface. They did. Many of the original black social aid and pleasure clubs refused admittance to those same men because they were not light-skinned and could not pass the brown paper bag test. Let's just talk about it. We seldom want to admit that. Their members rejoiced in their European ancestry. Few could cite an inheritance of these white men, but that's who they claim to say, I'm derived from them. The men in Zulu, on the other hand, like Louis Armstrong, the 1949 King of Zulu, claimed no part of being white. They were black men 24 hours a day. It's membership, their work, everything. They came from every hue, light black, dark green, dark black, brown, or whatever, but they claimed to be black, nothing else. But the contradictions continue in terms of the historical context, because in 1964, the Zulus did something like passed out doubloons. And the doubloons, I kid you not, had pictures of African men on them, profiles. They weren't whitewashed, they were real, the features were there, of a Watusi, an Ethiop, and Hausa men, and they were identified as such. So, again, the confusion continues. This is my junior high school mind, and I'm going to stop there and let Brother Willie take it up, and then I'll answer the last question.
Good.
You said the question.
Just basically getting at how does the factual information in the historical context, now that you have seen it and know it, how does that then impact you going into the future?
I mean, when factual information impacts you, that you understand what it is. Now, when I think about our people, like as a Muslim man, dealing with our people who's always trying to bring them facts and information about something, and we've had so many experiences that when you bring them facts and information, where people say, I don't care. I'm going to do what I want to do. That's from dealing with Jesus not being white, Christmas, and all of the other stuff. So, and what it is just it's people caught up, like she was saying, in regards to the romanticism, because everybody is doing it. You know what I'm saying? And it's like you hear people talk about truth, but there's a difference when you talk about truth and what is right, and when it's time to live in accord with it. And that's when sometimes you begin to start getting that divide. People are like, man, I understand all that, but this is what I'm going to do because of the joy, because of the excitement. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like it's turned up because now the whole city is behind it, and everybody and they just get together on Mardi Gras, and it's fun. Like you get the Zulus, they come to weddings, they come to graduations, and so it's that mixture with the fun that it brings, and people tend to take fun and excitement over truth and what's facts. The majority of people. But once you know the truth, you got something you have to do.
And just think of how powerful it will be. I know we're going to get to the Sister Journey Allen video with the re-image, instead of the blackface, the actual, tribal mask of some of the, people within Africa and some of the countries and whatnot. And that could be real teaching moments, like this is the Ashanti tribe, these people from, Senegal and whatnot.
I remember Brother Malcolm Sula said this one time at a meeting. He said that New Orleans, I forgot how he was saying, it's like it's one of the most, like, black folks are organized in a sense, but it's all around the social aid and pleasure stuff, like the fun and revelry stuff, but not around the stuff that we would need. Because if we were able to take that and put it behind the issues that really impact the quality of our lives, we'll be able to change. Yes. I think in regards to it being established, that it came from the minstrel show, but also like if you giving honor to the Zulus in Africa don't rock like this. So now it's not just like it's my ego and it's my pride, and it's this tradition that we think that we made somehow that we're not gonna let go.
Right. Thank you for that, Brother Willie. For the third question, it's a little lengthy, so I'll kind of retouch it if need be, clean it up. Considering the future of the black community in New Orleans, whose labor, creativity, and strength faces an extractive social structure that is exploited for the tourism industry that makes minimal investment into the needs of local black residents or the working class, how do we use our collective imagination to move beyond that which degrades our humanity and towards that which nurtures the historical genius of black people, B, celebrates our resistance to oppression, and C, ensures economic investment into local black needs to advance the culture?
And at this point, I would like to call Journey Allen into the room, because immediately after what happened last year on the neutral ground in front of the Zulu Social Aid Pleasure Club, Journey Allen released an Instagram post, right? She was inspired about that imagination piece. What would it look like if we maintain that kind of joyous celebration of black people, but not rooted in mockery, not rooted in white supremacy, but coming from a place of celebration of blackness in its myriad ways that can be reflected across the dysphoria.
Right, and like, people think that this is just aesthetics, that it's not like it's the surface level. This is deep. Like, we're getting at the fact of the matter that why it is that there's over $8 billion generated annually in this city, off of black people's culture. You know what I'm saying? The fact of the matter that for every dollar that a white male makes, a black woman makes 47 cents. And that ain't something new, you know what I'm saying, that's been going on, man. And so, we're going to throw that question out there as to how it is we move forward and able to, I guess, redirect, our cultural norms and, and economically, too, affecting the people.
We will play the video.
Oh, all right. I got you.
Thank you.